Hello and welcome to another virtual stop tour. This is the first virtual pipe organ video since I believe either sometime last year or December of 2020. This is certainly the first virtual stop tour in quite some time. I have a custom-made church organ that borrows audio samples from like 4 or 5 different organs, like the Berea and Patia sample sets, the Pacella and Veendam sample sets. I mean, this custom-built organ right here borrows from so many different sample sets. Um, it is a 5-manual, 120 stop organ with 4 pedals of expression. You can see those down there at the bottom, the great swell, choir, and solo pedals of expression. So I can either make the stops for those divisions louder or quieter whenever I want to. Then the great choir and solo have tremulence, and then all the couplers here. Yeah, I built this initially a couple of months ago, and just thought I would showcase this organ, and I will now get into doing so. Right now, I'll begin in the great with the great principle. And if any of the samples fall behind, cut out, or lag, not much I can do about that. I apologize. Anyway, octave, 15th, a 2-rank Rouse quint, which is a bit of a rare mixture. That is borrowed from a German sample set of some kind. There's a 3-rank. Very nice. A 4-rank. And then a 5-rank. A general rule or pattern with mixtures is that the larger the Roman numeral, so the larger the number of ranks, typically the deeper pitched it is, and then the opposite is also true. The less amount of ranks, the higher pitched it'll be. So there's a pretty good variety of mixtures in the great. You got a 2-rank, 3-rank, 4-rank, and 5-rank. So you've got some mixture variety. Then there's quints. There's a 12th, 5th, an octave lower, here's both great quints, here's a sub-principal, so a principal is 16, super low note. So here's a sub-principal, principal, both octaves, both quints, and all 4 mixtures for a actually pretty decent size, great principal chorus. Fantastic sound. One of my favorite sounds of this organ. Fantastic. Moving on through the great, there are some great flutes. Here's a flute 4. Just realized it would appear I've left the sound a bit quiet. Turn that up. Better fix that now than later. Anyways, yeah, flute. A spindle flute 4. So maybe a bit of a rounder tone. There's a gedeckt. There is a double flute at 8-foot pitch. A Borden. There's 2 Bordens, one at 8 foot. And then a Borden at 16. way deeper. Was that all the flutes? The flute, spindle flute, Gedeck, double flute, Borden, Borden? Yes it was. Here's the Great Flute Chorus with all 3 8-foots, 16-foot, and both 4-foots. Forgot to turn it down. Here we go. Once again, moving on through the great, here are the great reeds. There is a contra trumpet at 16. Pretty deep, trumpet at 8. And then octave higher, a clarion. And then a beautiful cornet. Here's all 4 great reeds. Here is now full great. I believe any strings. Nope, that was all of that was the entire great. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the volume down. Here is full great. Definitely enjoy that sound. Moving on, that was the Great Division. Moving on to, how about the, okay, so I forgot to mention this. The manuals from bottom to top are, I believe it goes Great Swell Choir, Solo, Antiphonal. So that was the Great, the bottom manual, the Great. Moving on to the, how about the, what is this? This is the Swell. Moving on to the Swell Division here. There is a diapason. Octave. Super octave at 2. Goes way up there. Then there's a 2-rank cymbal. So once again, from earlier, the less ranks, the higher the pitch. Only 2 ranks, way up there. 3 ranks, a bit lower, but still pretty high. And then a 4-rank fornisher, the deepest of the swell mixtures. And there's even a oh, pretty rare here, a 22nd. That's like a super octave. It's crazy. Even higher, my goodness, a 1-foot stop. Then there's a double diapason at 16. There's a tierce. A Nazard, a Larigo, Septième, so I can play the tierce and Nazard together for a sesquialtera, a flute sesquialtera actually, because those are flute stops. This Nazard and tierce are flute stops. And then I can combine that with the super octave, octave, and diapason for my own custom cornet, swell cornet. Anyways, here's the double diapason, diapason, octave, super octave, even the 22nd, and all 3 swell mixtures for a, once again, pretty hefty principal chorus here. Whoa, that cymbal is blaring. The cymbal is overpowered, actually. And the 22nd as well. So there is another principal chorus. Moving on through the swell, there's some swell flutes. Here is a wood flute. There is a flute 4. There is a whole flute at 8-foot pitch. Then there's a Borden at 16. Way down there. Was that all the flutes? That was it? The wood flute, flute, whole flute, Borden? That's it? Okay. Here's the swell flute chorus. Then here's a couple of strings. There's a viola. And then a salisette, or salis, whatever it is, a 4-foot string to go with it. Wonderful sound. Those two go fantastic together. I showed all the mutations, all the mixtures, principal chorus. Here's a crumb horn. A clarinet, but this is actually a flute clarinet. So this is actually, it's a recreation of a reed, but it's not a reed, it's a flute stop, which means open metal pipes. Or it actually could be a reed, and it's just very soft. So that was those are the here's a reed duo, I guess, just crumb horn clarinet. Not much of a chorus. Here is, yeah, and then here's just full swell, so volume back down. And here it is. I feel like the mixtures, especially the cymbal, kind of overpower that one. So that was the swell. Moving on to the choir here, to the choir division, which is the third manual. Choir, we have, what do we have? We have a Preston. Another Preston at 4. A Gemshorn at 2. A Acuta 4 rank. And then a 3 rank Forniture. Then there's a Quint. And then a Tierce. So another Quint and Tierce pairing, which results in yet another Sesquialtera, but this is more of a diapason Sesquialtera this time. So I could go both mixtures, Gemshorn, and both Prestons for a bit of a smaller choir principal chorus. Once again, great sound. Only 5 stops. Great sound. Then we have some strings. Here's a gamba. Bit of a wrong note there, sorry. Then there's a viol celeste to go with it. Gorgeous, gorgeous sound. Then there's another string, violin. And then even the violin has its own celeste. Here's both strings and their according celeste for 4 string stops. Bit of almost a string chorus here for the choir. Then let's run through the mini choir flutes. There's a chimney flute. A harmonic flute. Bit of a softer sound. Softer and thinner. Then there's a Borden. bit deeper and fuller. There's a roar flute. A Gedeck Palmer. And then a Borden, which is much quieter. Was that all the flutes? I believe it was. Here's the choir flute chorus with a chimney flute, harmonic flute, Borden, roar flute, Gedeck Palmer, and Borden. Here's the choir reeds. There's a Dulcian. A trumpet. Clarion. All three for a bit of a choir reed chorus. Here is full choir. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down again. Okay. Now, the string celeste do kind of throw it off a bit, but nonetheless, here it is. So there's the great swell and choir. Time for the solo. Here's sound back up. The solo division here, there's a mantra. Quick fun fact, this organ is so large that literally each division has its own principal chorus. Here's the octave. Another octave at 2, 15th. Higher and quieter. Then there is a 2 rank. Which has some pretty interesting harmonics. What was that? And then a 4 rank chorus mixture. Then I believe there is, I hope that's it for the principal chorus, not even, no quints, nothing. Here's both mixtures, both octaves, and mantra for the solo principal chorus. Here is just some other random solo stops. Here is a dulce. Here's some strings. Here's a Geigen principal. Here is solo strings. Again, here's a Val de Gamba. And the according celeste. Is that all the strings? I believe so. Moving on to the solo flutes. Here's a minor flute at 4 foot. The minor flute is actually kind of a rare stop, the minor flute. A piccolo. A traverse flute, which was recorded beautifully. A major flute at 8 foot pitch. Another gorgeous stop. Here is a Borden Dow, which is the Borden a bit softer. Here is the solo flute chorus, the Borden Dow, the major flute, traverse flute, piccolo, and minor flute. Which blends together surprisingly well. Here's the solo reeds, here's an oboe. And then here's the oboe's octave as well, 4 foot. Here's a clarinet. a double clarinet, so the same clarinet down the octave as well. And then here's a cornet. Solo reed chorus with the oboes, clarinets, and cornet. So that was the strings, flutes, principal chorus, and reed chorus. That is the entire solo. Here's now full solo, volume back down. Beautiful division. Moving on to the top manual, one final manual division. Here's the antiphonal. Any diapason stops? Oh, I think I actually lied. The antiphonal has no diapason stops. Guess I'm gonna go on to the strings then and see what else there is. There's a synthamatophone. Here, wait, volume back up. A synthamatophone, which is another quite rare stop. Talk about a wrong note, goodness. A quintadon, which is kind of a flute, but it's very old-fashioned and sounds kind of strange. Interesting. We have some strings. Here's a fugara. Here's a solutional. The solutional celeste. Here's no, I lied again. There are diapason stops. There's two principals. And then another principal at 2. Here's both principals. Here's some of the flutes. Here's a flute douse. It's very soft and quiet and innocent and peaceful. Here's a Borden. A bit quieter. Here's a Gedekt. A Gedekt at 16, which is actually not the same as the 8. It is a whole different. These two Gedekts are borrowed from whole different organs. Gedekt 16, much deeper. Any more flutes? Here is another roar flute. And then here's a Koppel flute. And then here's a 1-foot flute. Here's a Sifflot, which is kind of a whistle sound. It is quite high. Pretty rare stop, actually. Once again, the highest notes of a 1-foot rank is just dog whistles. Was that all the antiphonal flutes? I believe it was. Here's now the Gedekt, Quintadon, Gedekt, flute douse, roar flute, Koppel flute, and Sifflot. For what I would imagine to be pretty interesting flute chorus. That's pretty unique for a flute chorus right there. Here's now full antiphonal. Once again, turn the sound down here for a minute. There we go. Okay, full antiphonal. All 20 antiphonal stops. Here it is. I just realized I forgot to individually show the antiphonal reeds. Here's the antiphonal reeds. Here's a clarion. Here's a shawm. Here's a French horn. An oboe. A harmonic trumpet. A bassoon. Here's a antiphonal reed chorus. Alrighty, now here's full antiphonal. There we go. And once again, the best for last, here is the pedal division. Turn the sound back up. We have a octave 8, Preston 4, contrabass at 16, which is typically found in the facade, definitely a facade rank, hence the blaring resonance with the reverb type sound. Then here is, so that was the Preston octave and contrabass. Just moving around here, believe there's also a diapason, a pedal diapason stop at 21 and 1/3 pitch. This is a subquint, which is kind of a rare stop, but a 21 and 1/3, a subquint. Here it is by itself. And then here is both contrabass and subquint at the same time for a, this is a either 32 or 64 resultant, potentially. That is a 64 resultant. That is crazy. Moving through some of the pedal flutes, there is a Borden. And then almost the exact same thing, a sub bass. I guess just if you want some flute variety. Then there's even some pedal strings. There's a cello. A violon, which is a pretty deep string. And even a 32-foot string, a contraviolon. Both violons. And now with cello for a full string chorus, I guess. Back to the flutes, there's a gedeckt. And then one of the largest stops of the organ, there is a flute at 32-foot pitch. There's an Untersatz, which is a stopped wood at 16 foot, well, a 16-foot stopped wood, which, if you know about ranks and stuff, stopped ranks will sound down the octave, therefore the rank is only half length. Then here's a pedal flute chorus with, let's see, a flute gedeckt, sub-bass Borden, Untersatz, yeah. No, I never showed the flute off individually. Here's the flute. Gorgeous rank. Once again, back to the flute chorus, the gedeckt, sub-bass Borden, and Untersatz. Here's the pedal flute chorus. The Untersatz comes through quite nicely. And here's the pedal reeds. Here's a clarion. A pazzown. A trumpet. A bombard. trombone. And what is unique about the trombone is the trombone has its own quint at 10 and 2/3. There's that by itself, then here it is with the trombone. And what I found is even though it's a trombone quint, it actually seems to go better with the bombard rather than the trombone. At least in terms of tone and sound quality. Then we have the largest pipes of the organ, the grand and glorious 32-foot reeds. There is a 32-foot fagotto, or 32-foot bassoon. And then a contra trombone at 32. Here's a pedal reed chorus with the clarion, pizzoun, trumpet, trombone, quint, trombone, bombard, fagotto, and contra trombone. Pretty interesting noise. Here is, I believe I can now do, I did all the strings, diapasons, the flute chorus, and the reed chorus as well. Here is now full pedal, including the 64 diapason resultant and the 32 trombone resultant. Here's all 20 pedal stops. Very, very heavy sound. I believe I've now shown off all 120 stops individually, which means I can now do something pretty fun called full organ. If you've ever heard the phrase pulling out all the stops, that is quite literally what I'm doing right now. Here is all 120 stops of this custom church organ. I'm not going to do this improvised piece that I've come up with here. There is full organ, there is all 120 stops of this custom church organ. I hope you enjoyed this virtual stop tour. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to show your support for the channel. Now, whether or not I do more pipe organ videos, that is entirely up in the air. I might not. But nonetheless, here is this one. Done. A virtual stop tour of this custom church organ. So, hope you enjoyed. That was full organ. That was 120 stops. And there is each one of them showcased. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.